Welcome to LCC's Public Safety, Sexual Assault Prevention and Response. We're going to talk about some of the things that you can do in your everyday life to be safe while at school, at home, out on a date. We are a law enforcement agency. We work directly with Homeland Security, Eugene Police, Springfield Police, Lane County Sheriff, OSP, FBI, to name a few. Some of the things that we do are criminal investigations, background checks, fingerprinting. We make arrests. We respond to medical emergencies. Today we're giving you this presentation from a law enforcement perspective. Our presentation goals for today: we're going to share information on the prevalence of the problem, provide prevention information, give you suggestions on what to do if you're assaulted, and what to do if you're a victim of a sexual assault. We're going to go over personal safety enhancements, resources that are available for the community, and we're going to give you an opportunity to ask questions. These are the areas that we're going to focus on today: dating, daily activities, stalking-like behavior. We're going to go over restraining orders, confidence in your everyday habits, strategy for what to do if you're on a date, what to do if things go bad. One of the ways that you can reduce your chances of sexual assault while dating, you want to establish personal rules for dating when you go out on a date, or you could have a friend call you during your date. Do you know why?
So they know you're safe. Still
well,
alive.
one, if your date is going bad, and that could be an easy way out. So you have your friend call you an hour in your date, and you can excuse yourself if there's something wrong, like, if they're being strange or they're not giving you a good feeling. You could, as a way to get out safely, say you have an emergency, have to go, or just have your friend call you anyway, and yep, everything's good on this date, I'm fine. And what about alcohol? You drink on a date? When you go to the airport and you're checking in your bag, one of the things they tell you is, they ask is, has anybody packed your bag for you? Have you left your bag unattended? The reason why they ask you that is because they don't want somebody else putting something in your bag that you're not aware of. So if you are going to drink on a date, don't leave your drink unattended, because somebody could put something in there. And the date rape drugs are odorless, tasteless. They'll make you feel like you're drunk and you're not drunk. Or if you're not drinking an alcoholic beverage and you start feeling woozy and not right, then that just means that somebody put something in your drink. So don't leave your drinks unattended, whether it's alcohol or non-alcoholic. Use your inner sense when you're out on a date. If something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. Take charge of that and know how you feel, and make sure that you take care of that. And make sure you have clear communication. So when somebody's being creepy and they touch you or they want to be close with you, indicate no. No means no. No doesn't mean maybe sometimes, but clearly indicate that you don't want anything further to do with them. Can you tell me what are some indicators of abusive behavior? Telling you what to wear, what to order, making that choice for you. I'm going to order you a salad. You're going to have what I'm going to have. What about telling you who you can go out with? Telling you who you can call or accept texts from, or emails or rides or anything like that. Those can be some indications of abusive behavior. We talked about alcohol with date rape drugs. They may feel drunk at a much faster rate than usual, feel dizzy, nauseous, may sweat, make sure you get out, call a friend, talk to an officer, talk to somebody, but don't go with them. Some of the daily activities that you can do, be aware of your surroundings. Watch when you're walking to your car at night or even during the day. Watch for anybody lurking around, following you, watching you, taking photos of you. Have your cell phone ready. Have your cell phone preset to 911 or our emergency number, which is 5555. Have your keys ready in your hand. Unusual observations. A couple summers ago, we had a male in his vehicle that was masturbating to females, watching them as they walk by. He did this for, I don't know, weeks until we were able to catch him. But we found out that it had been happening for a while. So it's important that you report any unusual observations. We finally were able to catch him when these females walked directly by his vehicle, called in the plate number. We got him. And with that behavior, it can escalate. So he became not our student anymore. He was caught at the U of O, actually touching himself and tried to touch other people. So with behavior like that, it's important that we get notified, the police get notified, so that the behavior can be stopped and that we can be made aware. When you're walking to your vehicle or the smoking shelter or LTD, walk with confidence, walk with purpose, walk with your head up, like you know where you're going, and being watchful of your surroundings at all time. Stalking and stalking-like behavior. We get more than 24 cases of stalking a year here. What do you think stalking behavior, what do you think that it would entail? Being annoying, unwanted phone calls, unwanted texts, not really getting the hint, which, you know, that's where the clear communication comes in. One of the other things we do, we have a handout that will let anyone know wanting to get a restraining order how that they can go about to do that. That is some of the things that people can do. But the main thing is, you know, they may seem annoying by sending text, showing up outside your classroom, but it could be a precursor to escalated behavior, which is serious. So please report something like that. That is something that we investigate.
The timely reporting on that's kind of important. And by kind of important, we mean the last couple cases we've had, they've, in a matter of days, gone from annoying type behavior to full-fledged stalking, waiting outside of the classroom, waiting at their vehicles. This is kind of consistent of their behavior that we've been seeing. So you can get an email one day, maybe 2 emails the next day, and then all of a sudden they're waiting outside your classroom the next day. So the earlier you report, hey, this behavior is inappropriate, and I've told the guy to leave me alone, the sooner we get involved, the sooner we can make sure you have a safe situation.
What is it do you think that we do if you were to bring us a restraining order? We run a criminal history check. We want to know who it is that we're working with. So that's what we do. We want to know who we're dealing with, if they have a warrant. We've talked about some of the things that you can do to be safe in your everyday life. We've told you about how the department operates, some of the things that we do, what you can do to prevent an attack. Now, what we're going to talk about is what to do if the worst happens. Some of the things that what we suggest is we suggest resisting. And one of the ways that you can resist is running away, if you can. Corporal Riker, you want to talk about the knife versus gun, 21 feet?
We tell you to resist, but you have to take the totality of the circumstances, and you're not always going to be able to resist. And so I can't tell you knowingly that I'm going to have an answer for you on every situation. I teach the self-defense here. We'll also be doing assault prevention class here in 2 days. I can't tell you when you're looking at a knife or when you're looking at a gun to defend yourself by trying to disarm the individual. It's just not fair to you, and it's inappropriate. I also can't tell you whether or not carrying a firearm or carrying a weapon yourself is a right choice for you. Myself, I'm a concealed carrier. I'm a carrier. Several of the officers are as well, and we've all trained in firearms. So we can't make these decisions for you. It's something you're going to have to look into. So fighting back, we like it. We like you not to give up the option. We like you to keep that in your forethought, that you're going to fight and you're going to make it, fight through it. But we can't tell you to fight back. You need to consider what Corporal Rupp was talking about was within 21 feet, it usually takes a person that is carrying a holster designed for a draw, a second to a second and a half to draw and employ that weapon system. In that time, an armed assailant can cover, or an assailant can cover, 21 or more feet. And so it's a pretty good amount of distance to keep aware of. So by the time they get to where even the distance you guys are setting, they're inside your reactionary bubble. So you're not going to be able to react it and potentially draw that weapon and employ it in time. So it's something you need to keep in mind when you're going to engage your opponent.
One of the other things we see is, and it's mostly females carrying pepper spray, mace, that sort of thing. We suggest if you don't know how it's going to affect you, not to use it, because they could take it away and use it on you, and then you're not going to be able to fight.
The OC spray and maces, a lot of these are meant to be a stream application. They're meant to target one individual. And fortunately, with them, if you go through an OC course, you'll learn that there's overspray, there's the area gets contaminated around it, and even though you spray the attacker or maybe drench them down, the effects don't always happen immediately. It could be several seconds, in which case you could be in a physical confrontation with the person that's covered in this agent, and you'll be exposed to it as well. So it's something to keep in mind. If you've never used this stuff before and you don't know how you're going to react to it, we have to caution you about deploying it. Is if you haven't experienced it before, you may be overwhelmed by the agent itself, and instead of defending yourself, you've taken yourself out of the fight. So we don't tell people not to use it, we just some education about it.
One of the things you can do is, if you're a female, claim that you're menstruating. Sometimes it turns them off, and then you may have to think about it might make them angrier. These are just some of the things that you can do and things that some people have done. You could urinate, vomit. It could, like I said, it could make them angry. It could turn them on. But those are some of the things you could do. Scream, always scream. The more noise you make, the better. Some offenders were talked to about what it is that drew them to their victim. Some of the things that they said was women or men that held their head down, not paid attention to their surroundings, not screaming and not fighting back. Those were the ideal victims. So what we're saying is not to hesitate to fight unless they have a gun or a knife, and if you know for certain that you're going to be killed if you do fight back.
We go over some statistics. Usually that's where I chime in a lot of the time. According to the FBI crime statistics and some other statistics, the likeliness that you're going to be attacked in some dark alley by an unknown evil assailant is very low. It's very, very low. All right, it's much more likely that your sexual assault's going to occur in a familiar place with a familiar individual, somebody that you already know or are comfortable with, or have been exposed to a number of times, either socially or in a classroom or educational environment. maybe a work environment. These are the individuals that usually perpetuate these assaults, and they usually aren't armed. Right? Being armed is very low on that, and being attacked in an alley like you would think from Hollywood or from the media would lead you to believe isn't very likely either. That's not to say it doesn't happen, it's just not as likely as what would happen is the stalking-like behavior turns into a sexual assault. And a lot of times the individuals that have perpetuate these sexual assaults are multiple offenders. These are, I think the FBI was saying 60 or 70% of them have done this multiple times. So this isn't their first go around on this. They usually get uncomfortably close to you and then try to take advantage of a situation. Either you being intoxicated, them using narcotics on you, or them taking advantage of the situation socially. So we tell you to fight back and scream. They're causing a scene. A lot of times it towards these individuals that aren't out to just hurt you.
We suggest going for the good stuff. Gouge out their eyes, rip off their ears, their nose, kick them in the groin, do whatever you can to fight dirty to get away. We're going to talk about what to do after, if the worst happens and after. We want you to remember that you are not to blame. And the most important thing to remember is that it's not your fault. It wasn't anything that you wore, it wasn't anything that you said, it wasn't anything that you did. No means no, period. One of the things that we want to focus on, or several of the things that we want to focus on, but most important is victim care. We want to preserve any evidence, collect any evidence, and give resources. We want to make the victim feel empowered with choices. Do they want medical attention? Do they want a sip of water? A sip of water is okay. Give them their space. We would never assume that it's okay to touch them. So if you're helping somebody that's been attacked, we want to give a warm blanket and be respectful of their boundaries. Ask them if it's okay if they want to be consoled or touched. Don't, just assume that it's okay just to touch them. We want to give them resources. Be there if they need to talk, if they need to cry. If it happens on campus, contact us, contact public safety, contact counseling, student affairs, the teacher, 911. Go to a safe place, get medical attention. Call the emergency number, 463-5555. The victim of a sexual assault should not bathe, shower, brush or comb hair, douche or go to the bathroom, change clothes, eat or drink anything, brush teeth, rinse teeth, touch things at the crime scene. More often, though, the victim of a sexual assault will want to, brush their teeth, take a shower. We're talking to you about evidence preservation from a law enforcement perspective. Washing or showering could wash away any DNA, semen, blood, hair fibers, things that we would collect. We are a mandatory crime reporting agency, but if you wanted to remain anonymous, you could still do so. That's just something that we have to report. Here are some of the examples of evidence that we would collect. Fingerprints, bite marks, broken fingernails, documents, tool marks, hair, fibers, paint, glass, that sort of thing. Here are some resources. We've given some in handouts. And other resources on campus, counseling center, the women's center, health clinic, off campus, sexual assault support services, victim assistance, McKinsey Willamette Hospital, Sacred Heart, Florence, Cottage Grove Community Hospitals. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, I think we about got it.
Okay.